Collectively, we've been coaching for over 40 years, and we have found that most golf swings that break down or have major issues have them because the student or the player is pushing in one of these incorrect ways.
Yeah.
So Ed, let's show them the 3 pushes we're going to be covering today that we see so often from students.
So we often see either they're pushing with their hands, or they're pushing into the golf ball, or they're pushing too much lateral.
And any of those 3 can really wreak havoc on a golf swing.
And often there's a combination of them because the body's seeking to be in balance.
For sure. So today, instead of being a pusher, we're going to teach you all how to lead the golf swing by pulling it in the right way using our backside.
Yep.
And if you learn how to do this, you'll become a much better ball striker. You'll gain control over your low point, and you'll gain a lot of speed.
For free.
I want to welcome Ed back to my studio here. And before we get started, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. We have new content coming out weekly, and we'd hate for you to miss it.
So what we often find is that players tend to push too much in the wrong way, and then as a result, they're always early extending, casting the club, sliding too much, all those things.
And I think a lot of that happens because in our daily lives, a lot of what we're doing is pushing. You know, we're lifting weights, we're pushing. So we get used to pushing stuff. And most athletic events are actually more back chain dominant. We're using our backsides to create a pulling power, like a good baseball swing. We see a baseball swing where the hitter pushes the bat. Mm-hmm. Do they have power?
No.
They don't hit for power. They might be good contact hitters. They might be good hitters, but they're not going to be powerful hitters. And then when we see the power hitters, we definitely see this load and stretch and everything getting turned and slingshotted out.
Yeah.
It's much more driven by their backside.
Yeah, exactly.
So for those of you at home, while it feels powerful to push, you're probably not getting the distance that you should be.
And the contact you're looking for.
For sure.
So the 3 that we see that's most dominant is that we see most players get up to the top, maybe not in a reasonable spot, and they tend to push or cast this club. And in everything we do in life, we never push and get closer to something. We always push and go away from something.
Yes.
As a result of that, to stay in balance, people, once they start to push, have to then early extend and back away from the golf ball, which then you cannot have the same amount of dynamic loft, right? You're going to add way too much.
Add scoop.
Or once they do those 2 pushes, then they try to resolve it by pushing laterally significantly. Then if they've gone too far forward, they have to then push even harder with this one just to try to get it reasonably on line.
Yeah.
So what we're finding is that if people use their back chain, it becomes more of a towing motion, less of a throwing motion.
Okay, so when we think about pulling or leading, I think this goes both directions, backswing and downswing.
100%.
So I don't want to feel like I'm pushing the golf club into my backswing. I want to feel like I'm using my middle to pull it, and then my middle to pull it through. So this is powerful. I could grab onto a heavy weight and really pull it around powerfully.
Absolutely. And the other thing that you might have noticed in the camera is that, Milo, when you did your backswing, can you do that again for us, please? When he wound up, it actually pulled so hard, it actually sent him into his lead side, which then controlled your low point, and then his lead side ripped himself out of the way. Well, very much like if you're throwing a medicine ball, right? You're not going to take the medicine ball if you're doing it in a golf posture and throw, because if you throw, it's going to send you back this way. Chances are, as it's going back this direction, you're already recentering, and then you're rotating your body, pulling your left lat back to then release the ball with some speed.
100%. And any actual throwing motion is more of a pull than a push. But when we throw a ball, do we actually push our arm like this, or do we use our lead side to pull and make our arm load and sling?
Exactly.
So a proper throwing motion is actually back chain driven and not a push.
Exactly correct. So Milo, maybe give us an example of one, two, or a combination of these pushing moves that cause so much problem to people's golf swings.
Okay, so I'm going to do my best here. So if I swing this thing back and I try to use my trail arm to create the speed, that was a nice trail arm hit. That took a lot of effort for me to be able to create that much speed right there.
And you see that's only 80 miles an hour club speed, right?
Yeah.
Now, Milo, if you were using your back chain, i.e. not just your lats and your shoulders, but you're also using your hips or your glutes to pull this back, to land, to then unwind this direction, what would that look like?
A lot faster. Should I show them one?
Show us one.
Okay. So I won't go super fast, but I'll hit this one a little faster. So there's 100 miles an hour.
So that was 20 miles an hour faster
Yes.
and quite a bit longer in distance.
And I actually didn't hit it very solid.
Yeah.
But it was still, the ball speed was 30 miles an hour faster.
Exactly. On an effort level, you didn't feel like you used as much effort.
I probably didn't use it, I was probably less.
Less.
Yeah, the first one took a lot of work, and it actually hurt my arm and my shoulder a little bit.
I'm sure it did. So many of you probably go play 18 and find yourself exhausted at the end, right? Well, a lot of times if you're exerting this pushing motion, you're exerting a force that you don't need, you're not getting good results from, and it's wearing you out.
It requires so much more effort just to get a little juice out of it.
Yeah.
There's
exactly.
no juice there.
No, there's no juice there.
When you try to push that thing, I literally hit that as hard as I could.
So that's 84 miles an hour relative, and that's hard as he could versus the solid but not necessarily full speed 8-iron that was 100.
No effort. I'm going to feel like I relax this trail arm. I'm not going to let it work. It's just going to hold on to the golf club so I can use my lead side. And there you go, still right around 100.
Yep.
Little different.
A little bit different. So I think that's the answer for you folks, is to understand that it's much more of a back chain type of issue, right? And using that back chain, the one hidden benefit, yeah, obviously you get more speed, you will get better contact. But most of you people, when you're pushing, you're early extending. Well, it's very hard to pull with your back chain and then early extend, because this does not allow you to actually pull your lead side back.
Yes.
So you actually get to maintain your posture through impact, which means you get to maintain your wrist angles, you get to take loft off, yada, yada, yada.
Okay, so I'm a believer, and I think everybody at home is too. How do we help them train this? I think the first thing that they need to understand is how to wind themselves up and unwind themselves so that they're using their middle to move their arms.
Now, this doesn't necessarily mean, folks, that he's not using his hands and arms. The question is when and where and how.
Yeah.
Right? So don't think that it's just 100% body driven. That's not necessarily the point either.
No. The arms, they have a role. Their role is mainly to provide a lever system and structure.
Exactly.
They're not your power source. If they become your power source, you become inconsistent and slow.
And slow, yep.
So if we use these pulls, that becomes the leader that allows us to get way more free energy to our hands and arms, and in the end of the golf club.
100%, yeah. So don't be afraid to feel that when you take this club back, it's not you pushing your hands or anything. You're gonna feel like your trail side is stretching up and back. Then on the lead side, it's your lead side stretching up and back in your golf swing. You should have better results.
And if you can figure out how to kind of turn off this trail arm from wanting to smash down on that button down there on the ground, then your body's going to start to react and move better. One of the things I really like to train this, I like to hit some shots just one-handed. or make swings one-handed where I don't have a trail hand that can push. And all of a sudden, you start to feel what it feels like to use that to pull the club around, because I wouldn't go like this.
Yeah, that's true.
We're going to use the whole system to pull that arm through.
I will say this, there is one push in a golf swing that is a good push that we haven't covered.
Yes. This lead leg putting on this push, which allows me to pull with my upper, because if I don't have something into the ground here, I can't pull with my upper body.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious to all of us that, you know, our upper thoracic spine has a range of motion, but is limited if I don't use my legs to help me. So no matter how far this goes, if I don't push back, I can't get to a finished position.
Yes.
So we're not saying all pushes are bad. We're just saying the three that we mentioned earlier were. So
Especially if they're mistimed.
yeah, especially if they're mistimed.
The simple understanding that the golf swing is more of a back chain driven, more of a lead side pulling action versus a pushing action, I think can transform golf swings. If people just understand that and learn how to turn this side off so that it performs just one role. That right arm is providing some structure here. It's not my power producer, because the minute it becomes my power producer, my body reacts and those other pushes show up.
And you will not turn.
We want our arms to react. We don't want them to be the actor and then our body to be like, oh crap, I got to make up for this.
Exactly. So Milo, show us how to use that back chain one more time.
Okay, don't have to ask me twice to hit a golf ball. This will be fun. Whammo. Hopefully you all got something out of this video. Maybe it opened your eyes to a new way of doing things. And if it did, we would love to help you. You can find Ed on my website if you want to book one-on-one in-person lessons, or if you can't make it out to visit, you can book online lessons through FaceTime or Zoom, and we can coach you. We'd also love to see you on our online academy, where we have lots more drills that will help you develop a golf swing that's more back chain driven.